lost. I'd be like, I'll be right back. So, so you know what happened though? Everybody said if you want to become successful, what do you have to do? What everybody tells us, what the society tells us, is what we have to do what? Go to school, get a degree. They say the worst thing an entrepreneur could do is to take advice from successful employees. So at the time, all the people that I knew, they were successful, but they're successful employees. So they all told me, go to school, get a degree. So I said, okay. Even though I hated school, I went to school, I studied every day. And went to Pasadena City College, then went to USC, and became a civil engineer. Started working as an engineer for a couple of years, and very shortly I ended up not liking it. I loved my job, I hated having a job. I hated having a boss, limited income, and one day I was driving on PCH, and I'm looking at all these houses. There are $4 million houses, $5 million houses. And you're looking at all these houses, and I don't know if you guys ever wanted to do this. All I wanted to do was just knock on their door and be like, what do you do? I want to do what you do. Screw passion. Okay? What do you do specifically? So I found out all of them had businesses. I said, okay, I got to start a business. So I didn't have a mentor about a business. So I said, well, I guess I got to go get a business degree. So I go back to SC to get my MBA. And as I'm taking my classes, I get to know two of my professors. And none of them actually had a business. So I figured it out. I was like, well, if these guys really knew how to build a business, they'll be building one, not teaching it for $100 grand a year. So I said, well, I got to figure out something else. So by a vending machine, I met two people. One of them was prospecting the other guy. He was brand new. His name is Jason. And he was prospecting the other guy. He was telling me about this money stuff, and you can learn about money. And I really wanted to learn about money because none of this stuff even exists where I come from. You know, in Iran, you don't have a stock market, or you buy a house, you buy cash. You know, when you buy a car in Iran, the price actually goes up, it doesn't go down. It's hard to get cars in there, so it's like electric cars. So I was like, when I came here, these people said that car prices go down. I'm like, what are you talking about? Car prices go down? They go up. No, in the US they go down. I'm like, man, this system is completely different than what I'm used to, right? So I said, you know, I really wanted to learn about money. So I go to the guy and say, hey, can I come to this? He's like, yeah, what are you doing on Tuesday night? So that's how I showed up to the BPM. And that guy who invited me, he was in the business only for 1 week. By the way, that was his first week. He was just totally screwing it up with the other guy, and the other guy didn't show up. I showed up. He himself was late that day. I show up, I met two people. I just remember this. They introduced me to this one guy. They say, this guy's an engineer. I'm like, okay, I'm an engineer. This guy's a white guy, 20 years older than me. He's an engineer. Okay, we're good. And then I met this other guy who was my SMD at the time, but he was a jokester. You know those guys who, he wasn't like a serious, suited up like you guys, you know. He was like one of these guys like this, you know. And this is what I remember from my BPM. I was like, if this guy's a broker, I'll be a broker tomorrow. This is in Mozone, by the way. This is not, I had no clue. I'm like, if this guy's a broker, they're edifying this guy. Okay. And I go to the BPM. You know how they introduce the guest speaker? The guest speaker comes in. And you know, the way we introduce guest speakers, we think the guy is the guy who owns the company, right? So this guy comes in. His name is Mark Kwan. Anybody know who Mark Kwan is? He's an EMD in our company. He makes a few $100,000 a year. He comes up. He does the presentation. He's hiding behind the podium, and his hands go like this throughout the whole presentation, shaking. So I'm thinking he has Parkinson's. It did not even occur to me that he might be scared. I found out 2 months later he was a brand new senior associate. This was his first time doing the BPM. But you don't know, the way they introduced the guy, they're like, wow, this guy, he's the owner of World Financial Group, right? The way they advised. And all I remember was this. Even though his hands were shaking, thinking, but he was smart. See, our business is 95% human nature, 5% is product knowledge, just so you know, okay? So that's why you see the people who really know about the products, they usually don't make a lot of money, okay? But the people who really have a great, they're good at human nature, they understand recruiting, they understand people, they make all the money. So all I remember from him, he was doing this, even though he was doing this, he said, you know what, we're not looking for everybody. We're already looking for 1 or 2 people. Okay? And I'm filling out that thing, I was like, I hope it's me, right? So I still have my blue card, and he said, maybe one of you guys you can sit down with now, and I put now. So, and I go sit in front of Michael Schloeman, my EBC. He's a very humble guy, so he didn't even use his office. He took his chair, he put me on one side, and he sits on another side. And he's like, okay, we're going to do a hiring interview. I'm like, okay, we better be ready. So then he goes like this. He said, well, let me ask you a question. Do you have any question about what we do? I said, no. And then he says, well, I don't see any reason why we can't get you started right now. And I was like, okay, that was easy. That was probably the easiest hiring interview I've ever done. So that's basically how I got started in the business. And next week, now they say you got to go to this class called Fast Start School. But if you want to go to Fast Start School, you got to make sure we've done your financial need analysis, and you got to have 3 yes. So I do my financial analysis, and this I'm brand new. I call up 3 of my buddies, and I say, look, I got to go to this class. Okay, there's this thing called Rule of 72. It's pretty awesome. But I wasn't really sure right now. So I said, you know, just don't really listen to anything they say. I just need to go to this class right now. So just come in. So I was shooting myself in the foot, right? So my buddies all show up. They all have jeans. Okay, ripped off jeans. They come in, they don't even let them into BPM. And they put him with this lady who was the slowest person ever. And she starts talking about what we do, and I was like, oh my God, this is torture. So literally in the presentation, I'm like, let me show them the rule of 72. Okay, here's how it works. This is me doing the first presentation, okay? Anyway, they leave. By the way, let me just show you how I showed up to the office, okay? That's me right there. Okay, you see that jacket right there? You guys see that jacket? That's what I wore. They told me dress up. So that was the only jacket that I had. So I wore pants, and then I put that jacket on, and I wore that for 2 months to the BPM. Until somebody told me, dude, that's really embarrassing. You need to. And I was offended, actually. I was like, really? I thought I was dressing up right now for you guys, putting a jacket on and the whole thing. So we go to this Fast Start School. The guy comes up. He's very good. He says, you know what? Here's the reason I'm telling you this. You need to listen to this very carefully. This is what you need to be doing as you go back. So he goes and says, you know what? He speaks. Here's all I remember. He says, anybody who worth anything in our business at least gets 10 recruits their first month. And everybody does it. And I'm like, crap, everybody does it. So everybody does it. So I was working 8 to 5 as an engineer. 8 to 9 I'm getting, 6 to 9 I'm getting my MBA. And over the weekend I used to throw events, and I used to build houses with my buddy. So I was very busy. So I said, well, I gotta do this. So I was lucky enough that I was forced to use our system. Okay? A lot of our people don't use our system. Our system is designed in the beginning where you get to leverage your mentors, and all you gotta do is put people in front of them, they do all the work. Right? So, and I asked them, I said, are you telling me all I have to do, just put you in front of somebody, you do the presentation, you close the deal, you recruit them for me, and they'll be my team? They're like, yeah. I was like, wow, maybe these guys don't really know what they're doing, but that sounds awesome. They're going to do all the work. I said, okay, that sounds like a deal. So I just started putting people in front of them. Now, my direct SMD, the guy who was right above me, he didn't want to drive all the way to Orange County to do my appointments, because he's like, this is far. I was 26, everybody I knew, there We're 22, 23 years old. My family's in Iran. I don't really have anybody here. It's all 22, 23-year-old. So he didn't want to come down all the way down to do the presentation. So I learned this, that I have to be grateful toward my trainers to come do my appointments. So there's a lesson in here, okay? Here's the lesson. So think about mutual funds. Okay, when you think about mutual funds, they're mutual funds. Imagine if you had a mutual fund that gave you 18% return and it was a very low fee. Okay? Now imagine another mutual fund that gave you 10% return, but it had a high fee. And then imagine another mutual fund that gave you negative 10% and it had a very high fee. How many of you guys want to put it in the one that's 18% low fee? Raise your hand. Let me see. It gives you 18% return. Anybody? How about 10% high fee? Anybody? How many of you guys put your money in something that gives you negative 10% and has a very high fee? Anybody? Is that common sense? That's common sense. Now also in our business, in our base shops, okay, we are all, you have to understand, we are all mutual funds in somebody else's business and we have mutual funds in our business. Okay? So my first question is, I'm talking about you, not your team, because immediately you start thinking about your team. Let's talk about you for a second. Are you high return, low fee? Or are you very low return, high fee? See, because in management, they say in management, squeaky wheel gets all the oil. Okay, or all the grease. But in leadership, squeaky wheel gets what? No oil! That's how it works. So you got to make sure you're what? That person. Okay? If you look at this room right now, watch this. So let's see, where's tenacity here? Is tenacity here? So stand up for a second. Stand up for a second. Okay. Where's in the back? Okay. So stand up. So everybody is in your team, right? Yeah. Okay. So check this out. Dan recruited one guy who was what? High return, low fee, and then he went and got this whole section. You understand? Dan didn't go directly get everybody, right? Okay, so you guys get the point? You can have a seat now. So that's what we're talking about, and that's the same exactly what I said Paul. If I said Paul, stand up. If I said Christopher. So you find leaders, and these leaders are always the one that are high return, low fee. Okay? So you want to make sure you're one, number one. Number two, you want to make sure when you're looking at your team, you're spending the time on those guys instead of being a politician and spending the time on all of them. Okay? So I learned that early on. I said, you know what? I got to be very grateful. So I was genuinely grateful when they did my appointments. I could not actually believe they would do my appointment. Versus most people, sometimes they're like, well, they're making money, so they have an attitude too. Oh, you gotta make so much money from them. Anybody who says that, you never usually make any money from them anyway. They're the lowest profit. Anytime somebody comes to me and says, I'm gonna be your biggest guy, I'm like, well, he's dead. Because whenever you see that, you already know this guy's not gonna do nothing. Too much ego. Too much ego. So I learned that early on. So guess what? I leverage my trainers. We get our 10 recruits, 10 sales first month. We go to an event. There's a lesson in this. We go to an event. There's, I don't know, 500 people there. They announce all the people in the last 3 months who did 10 to 30. And guess how many people did it? Those of you guys who know the story, how many people did it? It was only one person, and it was us. And it wasn't anything special about what we did, by the way. This is very important. I want you to understand. It's not anything special we did. 10 is not a big deal. 10 is the minimum standards to survive in our business. Okay? But the point was, he said everybody did it. If he would have said, not everybody does it, I probably would have not done it. I just didn't want it to be embarrassed. That was my driving force at the time. Like, I'm not going to go here, everybody's done it, and then I don't do it. So it's a big lesson. So when you go back, I want you to be really focused on telling everybody that comes on board, not everybody does 10. Everybody does 10. I remember there was a point in my business, nobody was doing 10. Okay, nobody was doing anything. So we recruited a guy named Chris Payne. He comes in, he's a sharp dude. So I sit him down, I was like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I said, Chris, come to my room. He comes in and says, Chris, here's the thing. In our business, everybody does 10. Okay, if you you don't do 10, I can't even work with you. Okay? He's like, okay, I'll do 10. I'm like, okay. So now I just meet with him one-on-one. We make the quality calls. And then whenever he came to the BPM, I made sure he could never talk to anybody else. Because, they kill your business, right? All the people on Mosul. They're like, how long have you been here? 2 years. Have you done 10? No, man, I haven't done 10 yet. Boom! Just killed my new person. Okay? So I was always with Chris. Wherever he was going, I was like, come here. I gotta tell you something. I was always going with him. And man, guess what happened? Once he got 10, everybody else saw him passing him up. They all started getting 10. Okay? So that's one tip I wanted to tell you. When you go back, you got to give people high standard. It's not even a high standard. Imagine if somebody's in a pool and they're drowning and the water is up to here. And you want to help them. And you want to help them survive. And you jump in there and you put some bricks under their leg and the water goes from here to here. Or not, from here to here, let's say. Are they still going to die?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not until the water comes here that the person can what? Survive. So as leaders, now you are all leaders, you got to tell people what it takes to win. Because if you tell them what it takes to win and they don't do it, it's their fault. If you don't tell them, it's your fault. If your people fail, it's because your fault. You didn't give them the standard. You got to tell everybody, 10 recruits, 10 sales. That's the minimum. So anyway, after I did this, within this few months in the business, now guess what happened? Now let me give you the story. This is why they want me to speak to you, Mike. Just give you some hopes. Because I sucked. Okay? So probably when it comes to the level of sucking, they're always, every convention, they're like, who's really sucked? They're like, Cash. They invite me. That's why I go through all the multiples, because they're like, this guy sucks so bad, he gives everybody hope. Okay? So that's kind of like the reason for my invitation usually. Okay? Let me give you an idea. My first year in the business, because here's what happened. After 3-4 months, pretty much everybody I recruited quit. Everybody quit. Because somebody else was recruiting them, they're writing a sale. I was like, oh, they're just going to get built. They're good. And my SMD, there was no building happening. My market was in Orange County. Our office was in Agoura Hills. I don't know how many of you guys know that. It's about a 2-hour drive. People didn't want to drive. Everybody was young. It was a bad market. These are all like Persian kids. One of my mentors used to always tell me, hey, no 19-year-old Persian girl that drive Range Rovers anymore. So these were all like rich Persian kids that their parents were giving them money and were like, hey, you got to save money on an IUL. They're like, no. So there was no result coming out. I said, I'll die out. So check it out. My first year in the business, part-time, I made $8,500. Okay? $8,500. Now, here's the thing. Here's the beauty of WFG. It's like rule of 72. You might make $8,500 first year, but guess what happens next year, everybody? It goes up, right? You double up. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. So check this out. I quit my job. I go full-time in the business. I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to do this. I didn't get any consultation from anybody. I just said, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go do this full-time. By the way, back then you had to be securities licensed. There was IULs, but most of our office was mostly securities office. I didn't have a security license. I got my life. I'm like, no big deal. I'll go get securities, no problem. So I go full-time. My first year full-time in the business, I made $5,500. You guys just got it? My part-time, I made $8,500. Full-time, I made $5,500. Okay. You see what I'm talking about now? So, because I went to take my test, and I thought it was pretty much no big deal, the securities test, English being the second language, I failed it. Then my mentor says, you know what, one of the guys who was helping me said, you know what, you come in, put some rock star for you right here, put me in a room, and I start studying. And I go take it second time, and then I fail again. But every time you fail, you have to wait, what, 1 month. So the third time, we're like, everybody's on it. So I go in there, 1 week, study. This is my third chance. I go take the test. Guess what? finally, I failed again. Finally, I failed again. Now, you have to wait 6 months before you can get licensed. 6 months before I can take the test. So I failed 3 times the 6, 3 times the 63. So, pretty good. So it was a whole period of time. And I was just studying, so I was building a team. So I struggled financially in the business. I struggled financially because at that time, my senior marketing director quit the business. The guy who was my SMD, who paid the rent, that I used his office for doing appointments, he quit. He really had 2 people in his team. One was me, and then was another dude. There was 2 of us. And I really believe he just looked at me and looked at the other guy, and he's like, I'm quitting. So that was his thing. He quit. And guess what? He went to a different company because they gave him a higher contract. He made like 10 grand more on a rollover. So because of that 10 grand, he went to a different company. Is that crazy or what, you guys? That's crazy. If he would have been here right now, he would have made at least about 400 grand in override. Is that crazy? You understand? For not doing anything. So quitters make you a lot of money. Do you think Coleman's happy? The guy who was above him was pretty happy. As a matter of fact, this last Volvo, I was telling our guys, I said, look, our people will be very happy if you quit. Because quitters make you money. The key with quitting is you got to make sure they're at least 2 wide when they quit. You understand what I'm saying? It's the perfect way to go wide. So if I recruit Jeff, and Jeff has 3 people, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if it's working. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's not working, you know? Because then I get 3 people that are direct to me. You understand how much money that is? Just so you know. So, anyway, so I'm struggling because I have to pay his rent now. So I'm paying $1,350 a month in rent. I'm making $5,500 a year. And there's $1,350 a month in rent. Because I have to have an office. So, now what happened? This is 2008. So 2008, what happened? Everything crashed. I had 2 houses. Both my renters move out. And I'm paying out of pocket. Paying out of pocket, I run out of money. Boom, completely. You know, we always say there's different levels of not having money, right? Now people say I don't have money. But this was an interesting level. This was a very interesting level. There were so many days I just didn't have enough gas to put in the car to get into the office. So my dad had this jar of pennies. I don't know why and how, it was this big, okay? It was a lot of pennies. So and my parents were extremely negative about the business because, by the way, I quit the city and I quit my MBA. I met Sean Villalobos. Anyone guys know Sean Villalobos? He has an ice cream company, right? He was making $1 million a year. I'm like, this guy's making $1 million a year. I'm dropping my MBA. You know, I'm like, screw this. So I quit my MBA and I go do WFG. Right now, my parents hate it. Now, if you guys know anybody Persian, Persians are all about degrees. So it's everything. It's like it's in their blood. They drive BMWs and Mercedes-Benz, and then they get degrees. That's basically the 2 things they're doing. Okay? So that's their thing. So my parents hated WFG. You understand? Like Mark Kwan and Coleman, if they would have seen them, it would be like boom. So they say you have to protect yourself against negativity. Understand? So I understood, even though my dad was my reason for winning, I wanted to make him proud of me. That was one of my reasons. I had to make sure I didn't talk to him for a while. So I didn't talk to my parents, maybe for about 4 years I didn't talk to them. So in the morning, they would leave early. So I would make sure they're out, and then I would get out of my room. Because I had to go back in there and live with them, right? Because I was paying my rent to my office. And then at night, I didn't come come home until it was like 1 o'clock. Which was, again, all of this stuff was great things that happened to me. I remember one time I was talking for John Pham on stage, and he's like, Cash, what did you do? Let's say it was 8 o'clock, you had an appointment, and the appointment canceled. What would you do? I said, well, of course I would go prospect. And then he said, you mean you didn't go home? I was like, shoot, that's an option? So, that's the first time I realized a bunch of my guys are probably going home when their appointment canceled. I never thought people go home. Because I was like, what do you mean? You get out of your job, you're done at 5, and then you prospect and do appointments. What do you mean, go home? So that was a blessing, because it was not even an option for me to be like, oh, I don't feel like prospecting, like go home. Like, what do you mean go home? I can't go home until 1 o'clock. So, I go prospect. So these are all blessings that happen to me. When I look at it right now, these are all blessings that happen to me. All, Ed talks about this, right? Everything happened for us. All of this stuff happened for me. So, I remember I would get out, I would take the pennies and roll it up because I needed gas. So, how much are those pennies? Anybody? 50 cents, $1. Okay. Everybody, there's always somebody says $1. Then you know they've never been broke. Okay? Because it's 50 cents. Okay? I just test that. So then, here's what, now if you want to put gas, let's say you want to put $20 worth of gas. It's a lot of pennies. It's this big, okay? It goes like this. You hold it, bring it like this to your car, you drop it, and then gas stations don't want to take all the pennies. So you can't go to one gas station. I used to work at a gas station. I hated those guys that came with pennies. So then I would go to one gas station and I said, you know what, brother, I had these pennies for a long time. And I really want to get rid of them. I said, can I give you some? He's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. I would go across the street and I said, you know what? I had these pennies for a long time. I'm trying to really get rid of them. Do you mind if I give them to you? So I would go to 3 different gas stations to put the gas in the car. And then I would go in my car and I would go to appointments or go to the office. So everybody always says, well, why didn't you quit at the time? So the reason was very simple. So it's called common sense. So somebody told me, whatever you want to do, look at somebody who's been doing it at least for 10 years. Okay? And look at their life and see if that's the life you want to have. So every time I looked at any engineers, anything, and I looked at any engineers that have been doing engineering for 10 years, I looked at their life, I hated it. You know why? Because it was average. And I hated average. I could have been average at home. In Iran, you didn't have to come here to be average. There's no benefit. So, but anytime I looked at somebody in WFG that had been here in 10 years, it was dream lifestyle. It was dream lifestyle. They were happy. They were making money, they had great families, they had a great team, they were just happy people. And I just knew, I just got to stick it out for 10 years. So I know not to quit. So, as a matter of fact, there's only one reason people quit WFG. There's one reason people quit anything. The only reason people quit is because they focus on their current situations and their current circumstances instead of focusing on exactly where they want to go. That's the only reason people quit. I've never had somebody come to me and says, you know what, Cash, I'm really focused on my goals and my dreams, but this WFG thing isn't working out. Never. It's always their focus on their current situation, current circumstances. So if that's the case, it is so simple. Why do so many people quit? You want to know why? Because they don't know where they're going. 95% of you guys have no clue exactly where you're going. You don't have a clear picture exactly how it's going to look like. It's like building a house. If you're building a house and you have a perfect picture of exactly how that house looks like, would you ever walk into it during its foundation phase, when it's dirty? By the way, the taller the house, the more you gotta go down, correct? If it's a 1-story, you don't need to go down that much. If it's a 10-story, you gotta go down. And it's when that, how many of you guys seen a house during its foundation phase? Anybody? but there's cement everywhere, it's dirty, there's nothing happening. It was a beautiful green place, and now it's just down and dirty. It's a lot worse than what it was before you started. But you never looked into that place and be like, dude, I don't think this is my dream house. I think this is for me. I'm out. Would you ever do that? No. You call that person crazy. Well, people do that in WFG every single day. They look at their business and how it looks like, and it looks crappy. It's not what they really want. And then they say, this is not for me, and they quit. Because they're not clear on where they want to go. So I remember I made a sale. I made a couple $1,000s. That's part of that 5,500, right? So I went to Ritz-Carlton in Dana Point, my favorite hotel. So I went to Ritz-Carlton and I got 2 nights. It's about 700 some bucks a night. So I go, this is all the money in hand. So I get 2 nights. So by the way, my car got repoed. So I had this. I had to go buy this Toyota. It was a 1997 Toyota Corolla. And I got from my mom because she didn't want it anymore. It was dying. I was like, okay, I drive this. So, now when you go to Ritz-Carlton, you can't go with that Toyota. I mean, Ritz-Carlton doesn't have self-park. It's only valet. I'm like, I'm not taking this sucker to the Ritz-Carlton. So I go park it like 3 miles away. Get my baggages going to Ritz-Carlton. Get all my books with me. Turn my phone off. And I write down my perfect dream life at the time. As big as I could think back. I said, okay, here's where this is going to be this, it's going to be this, this is going to be my association, this is where I'm going to be hanging out with, this is where I'm going to be living, this is the car I'm going to be driving, this is the income I write down all of that stuff. There's something called, we call it perfect day. So I suggest you guys, after this event, to take a little bit of time to become a little bit more clear on exactly what you want. Your perfect day, you have to think about it. What time do you wake up in your perfect day? What sound did you wake up to in your perfect day? What view do you wake up to in your perfect day? Okay, what do you have for breakfast in your perfect day? What's your conversation over your perfect day? Who's washing the dishes? You know, people say, oh, no, we wash dishes together. It's our quality time. No, you broke. Okay? Okay? If washing dishes is your quality time, you broke. So, that's basically what it is. Like, in your perfect dream life, how does it look like? And I wrote it down. And I was so excited and I was so clear. And I started running. Guess what? A few months later, I hit SMD. I remember that last month of the SMD run, I made $14,000 in 1 month. I was like, whoa. And it really changed my perspective. Okay? So all that stuff that I was going through, it was okay. But I'll tell you one thing. You need to know exactly where you're going, but you also need to know what you really don't want. I want to know what's this, but I really don't want. So what drove me, I had a picture of my dad that we were at an event and he's proud of me. Okay? In my head. And I had another picture of my dad in a coffin. He's passed away. And I'm standing above him, and he never got a chance to tell me how he's proud of me. Do you think that drove me? That drove me. Because those sucky days, they were extremely sucky. I couldn't, my vision, it was there, but some of those sucky moments was these things that helped me survive. So I remember one day, for example, my mom, so sometimes Fridays she was off. So then I would get out of that car, get out of my room, and then, boom, my mom's there. Oh, shoot. She's there. And then my mom knew exactly how to give it to you too, by the way, okay? She'd be like, your dad, he was crying last night in his sleep. Because we thought, we always knew your brother's never going to do anything. But we thought at least you be somebody. And look at you. And they would go walk away. And yeah, she would just put it in, turn it around. And that picture, what would just basically get me going. I tell you this stuff not about me. This is not a story about me, it's a story about you. You need to understand what drives you that you really don't want. So when those things happen, Because do you think when I looked at that picture when somebody told no to me, did I care? Like, screw you. It was a different mindset when I was looking at that picture. So you need to figure out what's that picture for you, and then you also need to figure out exactly where you want to go. So these are 2 things I told you so far. Let me tell you the 3rd thing. So I'm in the business now a few years. 3 years after that. I get my ring, I'm getting my $100,000 ring, call from Hawaii, all this stuff. But then I got stuck at $100-something thousand a year for a little while. For about a couple of years I was there. I was very frustrated. I was frustrated, and I learned something big, so I want to share that with you guys. So, at that moment, I was only doing WFG. I was not doing anything else. But my mind was open to other things. Let me explain to you. Not any other business. I never wanted to do any other business than anything else. This was my business. But let me tell you what I mean. Once you make some little bit of money, people come to you and say, hey, Cash, you have some money. Why don't you give me some money? And you don't need to worry about anything. I'll put this money in this real estate deal, and we're going to flip it. You don't need to worry about it. We're going to double your money in 6 months. And then what happens, though, when you open, you actually look at the idea. You might even never do it, but you look at it. You understand what I'm saying? Which means you are open. Or, I would go to people's thing, people say, oh, I got the greatest business opportunity, and you got to see it. I'm like, no, I'm good. I said, no, but you never seen it. I said, okay, whatever, show me. And they'd be like, okay, you come to my thing, I come to your thing. You know what I'm talking about? In the beginning, people do that? Okay. Or, somebody comes in and he's a car insurance guy, and he will be coming and says, you know what, I'll give you leads, you give me leads. And I entertain those conversations. Even though that does not exist in our BFS book. In the BFS book, it never says, go find your local health insurance guys and send referral to each other. Does it say that? No, it says recruit their butt, have the top 25, call them, build them a team. Isn't that our system? Okay. Does it say go partner up with your local CPA? Send them referrals. They send you referrals. I've never heard that, never seen that ever. But I was doing all those kind of things. And I remember looking at this magazine, and you guys, you've probably done this too. I remember looking at these guys, the guy starts an app. He starts an app, and he's selling this app, and he sold it for, I don't know, $20 million. And you're looking at it, and you're like, I remember this. So look at this. It's like, this idiot, this guy made $20 million, and I'm working my butt off every day, all day. And I remember going through these things, and I was always thinking, maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something that's better. So my mind was what? Open. So whenever your mind is open, the devil comes in, which is called doubt. Okay? Doubt comes in. And what doubt does, doubt questions what you want to do. It questions it. So I remember this question. The question will come in and says, is this really worth it? I'm just telling you, when you hear that voice, that's the devil, okay? Now here's what happens. Let me tell you, there's many situations where you have it. You're with your kids, you're going for a Hawaii contest, you promise your kids you're gonna go. You're like, okay, you guys, you have to leave to go to an appointment. You say, kids, we're gonna go to Hawaii. They're like, okay, Daddy, go get it. You get in the car, you go to an appointment, you go sit there, you don't want to go in, you go in anyway. And you close the sale. And you come back. You're like, oh. And as you're coming back, you're about to go home, all of a sudden you get a text. Change my mind. We don't want it anymore. We need to think about it. And the voice comes in. Boom, right there. Is this really worth it? And check this out. That voice, a lot of times, comes into you in a voice of somebody you really love. Like your wife, like your husband, like your kids. He says, Daddy, is this worth it? When your wife says, my kids miss you. The kids miss you. It goes like this. And all of a sudden, if you're open just a little bit, guess what happens? You become more open. And then you're gone if you don't close it. So, what happened, I went to an event, and this event really taught me this principle. I'm so grateful our company. So grateful for our leadership, the people that we have in this company. So I see Susan's here. Susan, thank you so much for putting this thing together. And Rich Goldie and all of these mentors. I remember they put this event together. And we went to this event. And Rich had this contest. It was called a CEO Challenge. And he had the top 300, whatever people. I don't even know how they picked him. And you were there, Jeff, right? So we go there, and they give you a big, huge bib you wear, and it has your number on it. So if you're number 2, it says number 2. Front and back. Or it says number 300, or 250. And then everybody sits based on their numbers. So it's like this. You know you're making more money than this guy, and you're making less money than this guy. That's basically what it is. You know exactly your position in the hierarchy. It gives you clarity, doesn't it? It's very powerful. So I was sitting there, and I'm looking at all these people sitting in the front. By the way, the top 10% make so much more money than everybody else. It's crazy. By the way, it's not just this business, it's anything else. The top 10%, when you look at anything, or top 1%, they're just crazy money. So I'm looking at these guys, I'm like, what? I'm looking at what do they have? Because here's the thing, I knew the guy who was number 300. The guy who was number 300, I knew. 3-piece suit, great speaker, great personal recruiter, great personal production, great everything. Talks about leadership, you're like, wow, that was good. Quoted John Maxwell, very good. Great speaker. And I'm looking at this guy who's number 300, and I look at some of these guys in the top 10. I'm like, some of these guys, if I were to meet them in a mall, I would probably pass by them. Be like, that guy? No, he doesn't even look like one. You understand? But so for a whole 2 days, that's all. They were talking up there. All I'm doing, I'm looking at these guys. That's all I'm doing. I'm looking at what do they have? What do these guys have? And I found out there's 2 things. Okay? There's 3 things total I learned that day, but there's 2 things that they have. The number 1 thing that they have, and this is the thing, the reason I'm telling you this whole story, all this stuff, where I want you to walk away with this is this, okay? Is that the guy, when I looked at these 10 guys, like number 300, you guys probably seen this. There's people that they take a piece of wood and they put fire on it. And they take the fire and they go like this, they put it in their mouth, they close their mouth, and the fire goes off. How many of you guys seen that? How many of you guys seen that? Raise your hand. Okay. Well, most of us seen it, okay? Just, you can YouTube it. But the fire goes off. But the trick with this trick is, you have to close your mouth what? 100%. What if your mouth is open 1%? What happens? What happens? You completely burn your mouth, correct? It's the same thing forever. I used to listen to Art Williams. When he would talk, there was a do-it video. How many of you guys listen to do-it video? Wow, okay. You guys need to listen to do-it video, Art Williams, okay? I've listened to that thousands of times. I was asking, the first thing I showed people was like, oh, listen to this guy. So he would talk about this. He says the difference between somebody who makes it $500,000 a year and somebody who makes it $50,000 a year, it's so small that it's too scary to talk about. Which, if you put it in perspective to today's time, the difference between somebody who makes $1 million and somebody who makes $100,000, it's so small that it's too scary to talk about. If you've seen that video, you know what I'm talking about. It goes like this. The difference between somebody who makes $500,000 a year and somebody who makes 50 is so small, it's too scary to talk about. I remember listening to that, and I listened to it over and over and over, hoping that one time he's going to say, what is it? Okay? Because he never says what the heck it is. I was like, please, I just wanted to see Art and be like, Art, what is it? Could you say it in the video? But they say the great lessons in life are caught, not taught, by the way. So hopefully one day you caught this, you catch this. So that was it. The difference between the guys who were sitting in the front and the guys who was number 300 was that one thing. the guys who were in the front, they had their mouth closed. They were all in. They were all going to make it here or die here. But then that guy, he had options. He had plan B. By the way, this is not in our business, it's in anything. If you have a plan B, it's guaranteed for you to fail. Okay? Hands down. I don't care what business you're in. You tell me you're in business, you have a plan B, you're out. You're not going to make it anytime. That's it. That's number one. After studying all these successful people, spending time with all these guys, I tell you that's the one thing. So I decided to come back. So I remember I see that was one difference. The second difference was they were recruiting more people than that guy. They were putting more people into our system. Okay? You literally put a monkey in the WFG system and they go out there in the casino and take more people, bring him here, they will beat you. Eventually, you understand? Like, the person who has the bigger team will eventually win. It requires no talent from you. You just need a bigger team. Even if they suck, they still win. Doesn't matter how good you are at your presentation, they will eventually beat you. Okay? That's why it's a team thing. So I said, you know what? Screw this. It's a team recruiting thing. Screw this. I'm finally going to go what? Recruit people. And I remember one last thing. Because when I was looking at all these other things, I said, well, what else can someone do? And I really believe there's only one thing that you make more money than you do in the WFG system. There's only one thing. You guys know? There's one thing. You can actually make more money. And that one thing, if you're at the top of a startup, okay? Top of a startup, and there's millions of them, and only one goes and make it, you can make more money. But it was based on luck, basically. Because there's millions of people go do it, and then one person, you know, he makes it happen. Versus the beauty of the WFG system is it's guaranteed. If you stick around, you recruit people, you're going to win. And I loved it. But let me tell you what really got me. I remember that one day, Rich Dolly was speaking. Rich is speaking. All the EVCs are sitting down. Dan was there. All these, and Rich was said, you know, if you guys have seen Rich, there's a moment where he speaks, and then all of a sudden he goes, just like that. Okay? Right or no? So Rich, and then and you see everybody, all of these guys are taking notes. And I remember one moment that I looked around, and I looked at Dan, I looked at all these leaders who were there, and I saw all the people that I look up to, and how many people they've changed. And their lives is changed because of that man. Because he came here, he made a decision to do this. And when I looked at everything else, when you look at the guy who's Facebook, even if you were top of the Facebook, you were the only one who's up there. You understand what I'm saying? But what I love about WFG, in order for you to get up there, you have to take a lot of people with you and completely change their life. Not just money, because they can buy stocks and make money. I'm talking about completely change their life, that they're going to change other people's lives. You guys probably heard that proverb that says, if you want prosperity for a few days, you grow grain. If you want it for a few years, you grow trees. But if you want it for generations, you grow people. And this is the beauty of our business. We get a chance. We get an opportunity. We get a privilege to help other people grow. You know, when Rich Dolly got started in WFG, I was not even born. I want you to understand this. There are people that we're going to recruit 30 years from now that are not even born, and we're going to change their life. You understand how powerful that is? You understand what you're part of right now? And man, that day changed my life. I came back and I said, I don't care about nothing. Until I make $1 million a year in WFG, I am not looking at nothing. I'm not even going to pick a penny from the floor. Because if I pick a penny from the floor, that means I made money outside WFG. Okay? I said, I am done. Okay? I didn't care about your opportunity. Your opportunity could be better than this opportunity, but I don't care about your opportunity. I want this one. You understand? I became certain. And that voice, guess what? It was gone. The moment you become that certain, that voice doesn't come to you. It doesn't question you anymore. Because they don't, I already made my mind. Am I going to make it here, or going to die trying? And the moment you make that decision going out of this event, your life is going to be completely changed. completely changed. I remember it was, I think, a couple of years ago, I was coming back. Let me show you this. A couple of years ago, I was coming back from an event. We just had an event with Steve Siegel and Golf Ball, and we were coming back, and I took Steve Siegel to that hotel, to that Ritz-Carlton hotel, and I wrote down all this stuff. And so I had all these pictures. I had a picture of Ed Milet there. I had a picture of Tony Robbins, and I had a picture of Steve Siegel. All these guys that I want my association to be. These are the guys I wanted to be able to hang out with and think like. The car I wanted to drive, and the charities I wanted to have, the income. And I remember that a couple years ago, I was driving. I was going to Ritz-Carlton. I was meeting Ed, and as I was driving there, it dawned on me that everything that I put on that piece of paper came true. How powerful it is. That's the power of a made-up mind. So then I made a decision. I said, you know what? I need to do another one of these. That sucks. It's great that all came through. I need another one. So next time we went to Hawaii, I was gone. I was in my room. I was just writing stuff. I was like, what's the next vision? What's the next one? So let me show you some pictures. Put some pictures up here for you. Okay, let me go back right away. Okay, so check it out. That was me. That was our first office.
He's live on the camera.
And this was top of a mechanic shop. Okay, you would come in, it says Sean Motors. And then you come up, and it was our office. We would tell people, hey,
right there. Yeah, do the move.
Come learn about money, meanwhile get an oil change done.
Good job.
That's how we invited people to a BPM, just so you know.
Good work, yeah.
Okay? That was me doing phone zone by myself and one more dude. Nobody shows up and I'll pass out on my desk. That was a normal day. I'll get so tired, I'm like, alright guys, I'm done. So that was it. But I'm telling you though, all of that stuff is worth it. It's crazy. The power of this machine is crazy. This is from, I just put it up there. This was the same thing last few months. Over 100 grand a month. That's 165,000 a month. Is that pretty good?
Yes.
Changed our life. Everything changed. Went from a Toyota to a different car, yeah? And this is me and Ed. This is where Paul was there when we took his jet and we went to Vegas together. How cool is that right there? And you know, Paul was there, so Nate actually took the picture. In this conversation, he was telling us how you buy a jet. Is that a different conversation? It's a complete different conversation, right? That's not Photoshop, that's Vegas right there. This is how fast everything can change the moment you sell out to this opportunity. The people that are your heroes, they become your friends and your close mentors. And it's just, man, I can tell you, for me that was the biggest thing, so that just meant the world to me. Just who you hang out with, that's Steve Wozniak. And then you get a chance to go, this is me retiring my dad a couple years ago. He loves WFG now. So, it's funny, every time I ask him, he's like, so what are you doing next week? Or how many people did you guys have at your events? I'm like, Dad. So he's always asking for our next thing, next promotions. Which is pretty cool, like to shift that mindset. You know, just accept the fact that this is how it is. In the beginning, everybody's going to think you're crazy. And they're going to say, you're stupid, you're crazy, why are you doing this? The moment you make it, everybody's going to be like, I knew you were going to do it. I believed in you all the way. That's my mom right now. That's my son. I knew, I always knew it. Which is my 20. Absolutely. Now you get my mom, right? This is where we got a chance to go to Sierra Leone and build an orphanage over there. These are all of our kids. How cool is that? Who's happier, by the way? Now, so when I went there, we said, you know what, this was absolutely amazing, and I saw how much these kids loved playing soccer. And we wanted to get a soccer ball. It took us a full day to buy a soccer ball. It cost $100, $100 American dollars. It was almost like getting drugs over there, because it's so hard to get the balls in there. There's no technology to make soccer balls. So one of our people passed away a couple years ago, Her name is Angie. Angie's sister, Sandy. She was one of our agents sitting in a meeting, and she always wanted to come with us to Africa. And she passed away. Her dream was to come with us to Africa. Her dream was to retire her parents. Luckily, she had $2 million worth of life insurance. We were able to pay off their parents' house completely. Okay, so she retired her parents, basically. So when I was there, I was just thinking about it, and I see how happy these kids were. And I said, look, what if we just do our own project as a team? So we decided to make a soccer field. So, and we're calling it right now Sandy's Field. That's it, we're calling it after her name. And we're going there in May before convention. They're building it literally as we speak. This is how powerful this business is, you guys. So you want to change your life, and then once you're done with that, then you have so many other people that are out there that we can change their lives. You guys, there's so many other people. And you know what's crazy? These guys in Africa, they're happy. They're happy. So we get a chance, we get an opportunity to go and do this together. And I want you to look at this team, everybody's team. You need to look at this team as what? One freaking team. I like it that you guys have different this, different that, but you need to think about one thing. You know how empires fail? One of the themes was empires a couple years ago for our Wealth Bowl, and I looked at all the reasons that an empire failed. And you know what's interesting? Most of the reasons why an empire failed is from inside, not from outside. Number one thing was division from inside. So you have to understand, if you want to go make a big difference, you want to go change the world, you guys all need to come together, and you need to have an emergency meeting, literally, tonight or tomorrow, whatever you guys got, and you got to get together and say, Dan, what is your next promotion? And we're going to do whatever it takes to get you there. And you'll be surprised the unity that you guys are going to have together. Love you guys. Thank you for having me here.